Welcome to Tasmania, known by the Palawa people as Lutruwita.
We're trying to make products that truly represent where they come from, truly Tasmanian products.
We're incredibly lucky here in Tasmania that the seawater is so clean and so pure, and to get guests down there to see it is one of the most compelling things about our experience.
Join us as we uncover the vibrant flavours and handmade treasures of this great state.
We grow the entire menu right here on the farm.
People really enjoy coming in and seeing firsthand how we make our whiskey.
The people that come down here are just blown away by the friendliness, the way they're welcomed into this small community. It's just wonderful.
Get ready to experience Australia. We start our journey just a short drive north of the state's capital, Hobart, in the town of New Norfolk. Here, within the walls of this charming heritage building, a cooking school is bringing Tasmania's distinctive flavours to life.
The Agrarian Kitchen is inherently Tasmania. It's about the land around us. There's nowhere else on earth that the Agrarian Kitchen could exist in its current form than it does right here, right now.
Rodney Dunn is the co-founder of the Agrarian Kitchen.
So the Agrarian Kitchen began back in 2008. I trained as a chef but became a food editor, writing recipes for magazines, and basically wanted to get back to the basics, to the essence of food. We're in a beautiful old building. It's the Southern Hemisphere's oldest mental asylum. So when guests first arrive at the Agrarian Kitchen cooking school, we always make them comfortable with a sweet treat and some tea and coffee. We then grab baskets and we head out to the garden and harvest the produce that we'll be using for the dishes. We come back into the kitchen and we cook together communally, and most importantly, sit down and get to eat the fruits of their labour. They get to learn about cooking, but also about the ingredients, where they come from, and why it's important to the finished dish that the food is as fresh as we are able to source it.
A standout feature of Rodney's classes is his kitchen garden. This 1-acre plot is brimming with fresh, seasonal produce just waiting to be picked.
Everything at the Agrarian Kitchen revolves around our garden. It evolves throughout the year, so the produce that we're using changes, which is exciting for us. It's also grown in a very sustainable way. We use no pesticides. We focus on soil health, so it's all about our soil being super healthy, which grows us the tastiest vegetables we could possibly ever wish for. Having that garden and having that interaction with the produce is what we're about.
The Agrarian Kitchen is a celebration of cooking, where you can experience the fresh produce of Tasmania from farm to table.
I love passing the inspiration that I get from my garden onto people of all different backgrounds, and that's the thing that inspires me and hopefully inspires other people to cook.
The next stop on our journey takes us to the riverside town of Franklin, a 45-minute drive southwest of Hobart. Here, a passionate community is breathing new life into an ancient tradition.
The centre started in 1992. It was founded by John and Ruth Young, who moved from South Australia. John was very involved in South Australia with the building of the tall ship, the One and All, the South Australian sail training vessel. When John and his wife moved here in the early 90s, they were a bit dismayed about the fact that nobody was doing much with traditional wooden boat building, and they thought they needed to start the school to ensure that the skills weren't lost to the pages of history. Since 2014, it's actually been owned by the community, so it's a community not-for-profit. We have professional boat builders, and they're largely supported by a large team of volunteers.
When it comes to boat building, the quality of the wood is crucial. And here, at the Wooden Boat Centre, they work with some of the finest timber in the world.
All the timber that we use here, and of course predominantly Huon Pine, which is why most of our students want to come down and build a boat with us, because it's the finest boat building timber in the world. We're using the reclaimed timber completely. 1975 was the last time any commercial logging of Huon Pine took place, and this is timber that was probably knocked down 100 years ago by the piners. It never made it out of the river system, it's obviously sunk, and it's reclaimed from the bottom of the river. The beauty of the Huon Pine is that even though 100 years underwater, it comes up and it's in perfect condition. We can put it straight through a saw. That's all down to the oil. But that oil prevents any form of degradation, insect attack, marine borer, wet rot or dry rot. It's just the perfect timber to build a boat out of. When you're dealing with timber that's been growing in the forest for probably at least 1,200 years before it was cut down, you have a duty to the tree to honour it, particularly when it's taken that long to grow. 1 millimetre a year is the average growth rate of a Huon pine, so it's one of the slowest growing trees in the world.
A key focus of the Wooden Boat Centre is to train and nurture the next generation of skilled shipwrights.
So the students come here and they're given a full range of traditional boat building skills. It's full-time, 5 days a week. These students come from all over Australia, and we've had a couple of international students as well. And these students, when they leave here after their 12 months, are basically industry ready to go out and be fully productive workers in other boat building areas. We do have one big problem with our students, is that when they've finished their 12 months course, they don't want to leave. They just want to stay on. It's just the family atmosphere that we have here.
To pay for ongoing costs, the centre is also open to the public. Travellers can drop in for a guided tour, see what's under construction in the workshop, and learn about Franklin's rich maritime history.
Our tours run every day except Saturday from 10 till 4. They can look through the windows and observe the students working on the boats. They are then brought through the main part of the workshop where we give demonstrations of how the boats are put together, and then we move to the rear part where they're told a little bit about the importance of the Huon River to the development of the southern part of Tasmania and Franklin itself. The people that come down here are just blown away by the friendliness, the way they're welcomed into this small community. It's just wonderful.
For these dedicated shipwrights and volunteers, it's all about keeping the traditions and history of boat building afloat for generations to come.
Boat building definitely is about the journey rather than the destination, and what you learn about yourselves in the process as well. We are the only remaining traditional wooden boat school left in Australia. It's very special that we maintain these traditional skills and pass them on to future generations. We can't lose this precious, precious asset from Tasmania.
Just an hour's drive south of Hobart, we arrive on Bruny Island. This stunning island is easily accessible from Hobart and is celebrated for its remarkable scenery and wildlife. It's also famous for its local produce, especially its artisanal cheeses.
We're trying to make products that truly represent where they come from, truly Tasmanian products.
Started by Nick Haddo in 2003, the Bruny Island Cheese Company has been producing award-winning cheese with a distinctly Tasmanian flavour.
So we are staunch traditionalists in terms of what we make. So all of the cheeses that we make are very small batch handmade cheeses. For us, great cheese always represents a time and a place.
Their flagship cheese, Raw Milk C2, made history as the first raw milk cheese in modern Australia. In 2023, Raw Milk C2 was awarded both a Super Gold Medal and a trophy for Best Australian Cheese at the World Cheese Awards. And if that wasn't enough, Nick also has a brewery on site as well.
In terms of beer, we follow the same sort of philosophy. So a lot of the beers that we make are made from grain that is grown locally, and all of our hops come from the Derwent Valley, where we've been growing hops in Tasmania for 150 years almost. What drives us is wanting to make great cheese and beer. And to me, personally, great cheese and beer should very much represent where those ingredients have come from. That's why we started a dairy farm in the Huon Valley.
The Glen Huon Dairy Company on the banks of the Huon River came to fruition in 2017. With a focus on cheese production, Nick and his team do things a little differently here.
One of the things that makes this farm different to almost every other dairy farm in Australia, well, there's a couple of things. The first is we're a small-scale, sustainable, organic dairy farm, meaning that we get to prioritise things like animal welfare and environmental stewardship, and even the flavour is a really big driving factor for the decision-making of how we farm. The other big difference is we're open to the public. We're very, very proud of what we do here and we want to share it. You'll get to see, meet, touch our cows. You get a tour of our dairy and our milking facilities. Not only that, you also get to taste their milk standing in the paddock and to have them being able to experience the produce that we grow here, make here. It's a beautiful thing.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
An hour and a half drive north of Hobart is the seaside village of Little Swan Port. Little Swan Port is hugged by the Tasman Sea, a 2,000-kilometre marine expanse separating Australia and New Zealand. Its pure waters are ideal for the cultivation of one of the most essential ingredients in cooking, salt.
The thing that makes Tasman sea salt totally unique is the purity of the pristine Tasmanian water, and to get guests down there to see it, to see how close we are to that beautiful natural resource, is one of the most compelling things about our experience.
Alice Lang co-owns Tasman Sea Salt with her husband Chris Manson. Originally from the UK, Alice decided to make the move to Tasmania after a memorable vacation.
My husband Chris and I were here on holiday and we noticed that people were using sea salt, which comes from the east coast of England. And it just seemed crazy. We were surrounded by this pristine natural resource. And so we really wanted to be able to create a Tasmanian-made, Tasmanian-harvested sea salt rather than relying on sea salts from the other side of the world.
To harvest the salt, seawater is pumped into a purpose-built machine that uses thermal energy to aid the process of evaporation.
Our salt harvesting process uses clean energy throughout the evaporation stage. So we just take naturally occurring energy through evaporative cooling to evaporate fresh water off seawater. And we amplify it with solar energy and also thermal energy from the thermal mass of the ocean.
Then, using solar power, the remaining brine is heated, resulting in the crystallization of sea salt flakes.
We're incredibly lucky here in Tasmania that the seawater is so clean and so pure that we don't need to do anything to it but evaporate off fresh water, and we're left with bright white sea salt flakes.
To showcase the transformative properties of salt in food, Tasman Sea Salt offer a fascinating salt sommelier experience.
So the salt sommelier experience involves a tour of our unique clean energy salt works, where we harvest sea salt in a way that no one else is doing in the world, followed by paired tastings of our range of sea salts and salt mixes with local produce. More than any other ingredient, salt has the most profound impact on flavour in its ability to amplify, intensify, and also modify flavour. And demonstrating that to our guests is one of the really special things about our experience.
Two and a half hours northeast of Hobart is the seaside town of Bicheno.
We have a real love of the coast. We grew up on the coast, we just live and breathe the water. Creating a single malt whiskey in Tasmania right on the ocean's edge, metres from where I fish for crayfish each morning, was a dream for us.
Tim Palmier started Warbs Harbour with his brother Rob and his wife Beck in 2017.
Warbs Harbour is actually the old town name of Bicheno. It was named after a Tasmanian Indigenous woman called Warbarabar, who was known as a local hero after she swam out a kilometre offshore and saved 2 drowning men back in the early 1800s. The local people named the town after her, and we thought that was super important to connect back to our story.
Their distillery is located on the site of an old oyster hatchery. It creates single malt whisky that showcases Tasmania's unique climate and ingredients.
When we set out to create spirit here at Warbs Harbour, we wanted to create a rich and oily maritime whisky that was heavily influenced by the ocean environment it was created and matured in. The maritime climate here, the saline environment, the stable temperatures, they all play a massive role in the influence of the maturation over the lifetime of the barrels. It tastes of rich, deep flavours. It's an extra oily spirit, and there's a lot of people that are kind of blown away by the sweetness of the new make spirit before it even goes into the barrel.
The ingredients are all locally sourced, from the barley to the water and even the peat.
We've been doing a lot of experimentation with a local peat source just down the road from a salt marshland, which is a really unique smoky element, very different to the Highland sphagnum moss you'll find.
The distillery have also established ways to cut down on waste and energy consumption.
At Warbs, sustainability is really important to us. So where we can, we are always looking for ways where we can be environmentally friendly. All of our grain is sent to a local farmer who feeds it to his livestock. And one really interesting and unique element to our distillery is the cooling system that we're able to develop and repurpose from the old oyster hatchery, which is utilising the ocean to cool our entire distillery. It's green energy that saves hugely on power.
Tim and his brother Rob also offer guided tours of the distillery, where guests can learn firsthand about the process behind this world-class drop.
People really enjoy coming in and seeing firsthand how we make our whisky. Because we're a small craft distillery, we can offer much more of an immersive kind of experience where they can taste the different elements. They get to see, smell and taste each stage, from the grain to the whisky wash to the spirit that goes into the barrel. And of course, the taste of our finished whiskies.
The last stop on our journey is on the southern tip of Tasmania in Glaziers Bay. Here, at the mouth of the Huon River, we arrive at Fat Pig Farm.
I'm Sadie Crestman from Fat Pig Farm, and I'm a farmer and a gardener.
Sadie Crestman and Matthew Evans run Fat Pig Farm, a 70-acre family operation. They offer a smorgasbord of culinary experiences for visitors, all while keeping environmental stewardship front and centre.
We started the Fat Pig Farm experience 5 years ago in 2016. We wanted to invite guests into our restaurant so they could experience the kind of food that we were eating at our own farmhouse table, albeit in a slightly more expanded feasting form.
The menu at Fat Pig Farm is seasonal and evolves slowly over the course of a year.
We run feasts every week, every Friday, all throughout the year. What we do is pretty unique. We grow the entire menu right here on the farm. So when guests arrive, they get seated in our dining room, and the food is all cooked in a really open kitchen, so you can see what's happening to all of the produce. And halfway through the feast, we take you on a tour of the farm so that you can see where it's all grown and reared and raised, and they will get to meet our Wessex saddleback pigs. They might get to see our dairy cows and our beef cattle, and they may even get a peek at our goats. We then go through to the market garden where we grow all the vegetables that we serve at our farmhouse table. Most of our guests tend to already have a bit of an interest in food, but really it's for anyone who loves the taste of fresh produce and wants to understand how much better something can taste when you eat it close to the source.
Beyond offering a memorable dining experience, Sadie and Matthew hope to enlighten guests about the journey their food takes before arriving on the table.
One of the things that we really want guests to get out of the tour is an understanding of how much work goes into growing food and how we really focus on regenerating the soil, because we want to be able to produce as much food as possible on this little patch of land while ensuring that there's enough topsoil that future generations, 20 generations from now, can still grow food on this land.
More than anything else, the farming practices on Fat Pig Farm are informed by a strong commitment to sustainability.
We try to recycle back into the farm as much as possible. We also preserve all of the excess produce so that in winter we're eating lots of pickles and preserved vegetables. We also make salami and prosciutto and these lovely charcuterie from our pigs. A lot of people talk about paddock to plate, and we like to talk about soil to plate to soil. So we're all about preserving the soil to grow the best food we can grow, and then it's cooked and eaten, and all of the waste and the excess is then returned to the soil, either via the animals or through the garden.
From farm to table and ocean to shore, the spirit of Tasmania is captured in the products it creates. The heartbeat of this stunning island is its people. They blend tradition with innovation to ensure a legacy that will stand the test of time. See, touch and taste all that Tasmania has to offer.